Welcome, fellow explorers. For those of you who have thought about how neat it would be to actually visit the island of Arnak, I've got some good news. Grab your bags and pack your journals, because today we're heading there. With the adventure chest and the new Twisted Paths expansion, we're seeing the island like never before. I interviewed the lead artist behind Arnak's breathtaking illustrations about the world building of the game, uncovering the secrets behind the new maps, and getting an insider's look at how the island of Arnak came to life.
The design of the island started way back when we were making the original game. We wanted to have those two areas that were corresponding to the travel icons in the game. So boats meant wetlands and rivers, and then cars meant dry deserts or places you could get to by a car. So we knew we wanted to have those two biomes. So my design kind of crystallized from that. And then when we were making this newest expansion and the adventures chest, I had the idea to kind of solidify the whole thing, to kind of make the island a bit more specific and whole, because we are kind of closing the chapter on Arnak. So with that in mind, I tried to learn some stuff about geology and climate and biology too, because that's a large part of geology. And I looked at many volcanic islands like Hawaii or Vanuatu, the Philippines, Japan, and places like that to kind of draw inspiration from, because the whole idea about the geology of the island is that it's all volcanic in origin. Yeah, so with the base game, I had some idea about the geology. We had many illustrations already of the sides of the board, and with this project I had to kind of work with that and expand on it. So I tried to find a logical way, a sequence of events that could plausibly happen on this Earth to produce an island that would look like this. The idea is that the island began a long time ago as an archipelago of coral islands or atolls, and there was a large presence of coral reefs, and over time those created large limestone deposits. And later on, when the tectonic plate moved, the area came to rest above a hotspot, a very large one, that lifted up everything, and volcanoes sprang up and large calderas formed, like this one, the largest one. So the western side of the island is the oldest one. As the plate moved to the west, that meant that a new landmass sprang up. So the eastern side is the youngest side of the island. I don't think most players really look at the stuff, the underlying logic of the island, but to me it felt important because it kind of grounded everything in reality, so that kind of helped me to see those more magical elements of the story and the island as, it kind of supported the notion that I could find this place and be amazed at all the stuff that could be found there. Basically everything comes from this volcanism and all those deposits of basalt and tuff and obsidian that came to rest above the limestone layer kind of formed the landscape that we can see here. You have those white limestone cliffs below those sandstone ones, and this means that there are sheer cliffs everywhere on the island. There are lots of caves, and there's lots of low valleys that are kind of lush and populated with forests and animals, and then there are those higher places that are dry and windy and without much moisture. And then with the expansions, it kind of needed some new design space or new interesting ideas. So the scope there kind of grew. So there was more variability in the landscapes to offer every leader a distinct place to show on their board, and those new sites too, as well as the guardians and everything. And with this newest expansion, it was all about bringing all that together to form a whole that would make sense.
On the adventure chest box illustration, we see only this part of the island. The plane is coming from the south. Ondra modeled this whole region after the base game, so maybe this area of the map will seem a bit familiar to you. You can see the river delta and the iconic volcano. And then there's this lagoon visible on the new box that was not visible on the base game, and you can see it also in the Owl Temple map. And the volcano is visible too, which gives you the feeling of seeing a new side of the island, but also that it's all connected. You can orient yourself on the island based on these landmarks. And then the other map, the Spider Temple map, is located here on one of the driest areas of the island. This area is sort of bigger, we see more in the distance, but our view is kind of occluded by this large mountain range in the middle of the island.
You know, just having a landscape in moonlight would be kind of boring, so we wanted to find other elements that would kind of break up the monochromatic palette. So first element we kind of brought in was the lava flows that kind of pop out from the night and illuminate the surroundings. And the other that I thought of was the marine plankton that has bioluminescence, and you can find those around, you know, the seas on Earth, and they glow beautifully when the water is stirred, and it's kind of pronounced here to make sure it's really visible.
So there's more landmarks you might recognize on the new expansion and the adventure chest illustrations. The water temple map from the missing expedition is right here, and you can see it also on the adventure chest box illustrations around the lid. It's visible in the background. Another one of our artists, Geological, made the illustration of the lizard temple, and that would be somewhere around here. I don't know about you if you have any favorite illustrations from the game, but for me there is one illustration that is my most favorite ever, and when I saw it I was like, I wish this was a real place so I can go visit. So I asked Ondra about it, and it turns out it has an interesting story. It's in the Twisted Paths expansion, a base campsite on the Spider Temple map, and it's along the shore. It's supposed to be this tranquil and peaceful place used for reflection and meditation, but it's also very devoid of life, except for that marine plankton that glows, which is visible because it's nighttime.
The inspiration for this image was the painting by Arnold Becklin called Isle of the Dead, and there was obviously some fixation around the theme of death and calmness, because he painted it multiple times, and I kind of gravitated towards it. So I wanted to borrow that iconic composition, dressed it up in Arnak imagery. One thing that's kind of an Easter egg is both the maps have the base camp that gives you exploration tokens, and both of those have the landscape visible, so you can kind of match their location on the map with what you see in the image. So with the Spider Temple map, you can actually see the lava flows and the cliffs that are visible on the map, and the same goes for the Owl Temple map. With all the talk about all the volcanoes and stuff, one might think that this crater that is depicted or visible on the side of the new box with the Blow Mountain is also a volcanic caldera, but it's actually a meteorite crater that maybe brought a material that's very unique to the island, and that's the blue obsidian.
And that was our little tour of the island of Arnak. I hope you get the chance to recognize these locations and landmarks when you play the new expansion. Don't forget that it's your last chance to get the adventure chest because pre-orders close the 31st of March. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.